As a 2.5 hour event contained in the single video, the apparent success of this event made its creator push for a more ambitious project in 2024, including several other protagonists, including myself, celebrities in Polarga, to Brian. So unique. At Polarga, Virgo TV, Arnold Polarga, JDL, Real Classic Caillou, and its Ferrero. And just like the first event, the second one of 2024 was a massive success. It was much longer and was divided into several parts that premiered all day on June 10th. Shortly afterwards, the creator of the Watermelon Summer Festival was interviewed by Hilda, Watermelon's community manager. It was then that we learned his name was David and saw what he looked like. And about 4 minutes and 45 seconds in, David said, "To be honest, every Watermelon video I do has something to do with the Watermelon Summer Festival. Literally every single video. I don't use Polygon for something different. I'll get back to this point later, but I will reveal shortly. Anyway, at the time, many of us in the Polygon community, including myself, heaped praise on David for his leadership of the project, and we were all looking forward to next year's event. And then something began to happen that was disturbing to many of us. Part 2, Attack of the Mysterious Spammer. So in September of 2024, I was alerted by another plot agonist, Kieran for me, to what a third plot agonist, Mr. Plot, was doing, using Plotagon to make de facto child porn. I've already talked about this at length, so if you want, check the video I made about this topic. Soon afterwards, a mysterious person or people began using multiple accounts on YouTube to attack Kieran, calling him a racist for no logical reason. This went on for a while, and I assumed Mr. Plug was the spammer in question. The spammer also began attacking me and others associated with Kieran. But a later investigation by yet another plot agonist, known as Celebrities in Polarga, exposed the real troll. It was actually someone known as Comedy After Hours.
I apologize, but I don't know how to comment in the live chat right now, so I apologize if I won't respond.
For this effort, Celebrities in Polarga was hailed by many, including me, as a hero. But the downfall of Comedy After Hours came with a price for all of us. Comedy had collaborated with Ferrero on a movie called Christmas Missing, but it was unfinished and was lost. Also, Comedy had been invited to take part in the Polarga Summer Festival in 2025, but now that had to be withdrawn. But we were all determined to move on and make up for the loss we suffered. Part 3. The Brian quits the Polarga Summer Festival team. Now, for the record, I was not eager to create and publish this video. I am well aware that what I reveal may get a lot of hate thrown at me for doing it, but for me, this is simply a matter of telling the truth as I understand it, and being the bearer of bad news shouldn't itself cause me to be scorned. But I feel like I have to reveal to the rest of you why the Brian suddenly quit the Polarga Summer Festival team and ended his friendship with David after collaborating with him for so long. Here's the story. So in April of this year, the Brian posted this on his Instagram account, and right before that, he left the chat group in Instagram and made the help members of the festival team and participants coordinate their efforts. I asked the Brian what had happened. At first, he wouldn't talk about the matter, but soon after that, I got messages from David about what happened. Because Brian had blocked David, and so a third person was now needed to talk between them. Of course, I thought what David did to Brian was extremely stupid and immature, especially so soon after the allure over Comedy After Hours. But it was what David said to me later, when I called him out on his dishonorable behavior, that really upset me. person who realized he did wrong and wanted to make things right. A joke is supposed to be funny so everyone involved. Punching down on someone else is indeed verbal abuse. It was at this point that any trust or respect I might have had for David evaporated, replaced by resentment. So now, I faced a dilemma. To collaborate with someone, I must have faith in their integrity, and David had just shown me he couldn't be trusted. On the other hand, I had given my word that I would take part in this year's festival, and I knew that my withdrawing from it now would only disrupt things further and hurt others that were eagerly looking forward to the event. So after consulting with Brian, he and I agreed that we would bide our time and let the festival proceed as planned. But I also promised him that sooner or later, I would expose what had happened as a matter of principle. I was concerned that if David was willing to backstab Brian, he might also hurt others. And now, here's an evidence more. Everything on that evidence board is the result of conversations I had with Brian over several weeks. Now I am not going to tell anyone what to believe or disbelieve. What I intend to do for the rest of this video is explore all the evidence for and against what I call the two-faced hypothesis. The fact remains, David Smith is a liar. The matter is, did he lie only once and only to Brian, or has he been lying to everyone over several years, including Helena, Plotagon's community manager? So let us proceed with the investigation. Part 4. The case against the two-faced hypothesis. Point 1. Occam's razor. Occam's razor is a means of judging the validity of a case. Basically, the simplest explanation for an event is most likely to be true. So in this case, it is far simpler to assume that David was indeed telling Brian a stupid April Fool's joke. But of course, that doesn't justify what David did. Point 2. The personalities of the owners of Plotagon Summer Festival, also known as David Smith, and celebrities in Plotagon, also known as Hassan Johnson, are very different from each other. Usually when someone is using multiple accounts for the purpose of psychopatry, the personalities of those accounts are quite similar. But the personalities of the two users in question differ in many ways. Hassan is known for using a lot of profanity and talking with others. David does not. And the two seem to have different religious
watched
views.
this video
As I
before?
noted to David himself, it is clear that Hassan is not a Christian like David is.
I like your
When
painting.
celebrities in Plotagon were upset about not winning the Plot
It's
contest,
amazing.
David was among those who tried to comfort and reassure him by quoting from the Bible. Not exactly the best thing to do with CIP was not Christian, but that might be expected from a super devout Christian like David seems to be. Also, the two address me very differently. CIP often refers to me as brother. David never did that. And you have already seen how David seems to despise my hardcore liberal and skeptical views. However, Point 3. David went so far as to start a Christian ministry using Plotagon to create and upload at least one sermon on YouTube. starting to become self-aware. Point 4. Celebrities in Plotagon that truly endorse the video I made slamming Bible teachings. It's no secret I am atheist and have been for about 20 years. I once made a video titled Richard and Diana Talk About Judaism, which depicted the title characters, also atheists, pulling no punches with you, how they saw the story in the book of Exodus. That story is the very foundation of Judaism and also, by implication, of Christianity and Islam, because both of those religions also revere Moses as God's lawgiver. So imagine my surprise when someone showed up in the video's channel as it was being premiered. Obviously, no Christian would say anything like that, but an atheist would. Point 5. If David was controlling the accounts of both Plotagon Summer Festival and celebrities in Plotagon, then that means that Helen interviewed him twice, and he lied outright to her both times. A person who does not should be trusted by no one, but even I find that unlikely. Remember when I quoted directly from that interview David did with Helena? That is why what he told Brian about being celebrities in Plotagon was so serious. You simply cannot do that to anyone and keep their trust, ever. That's why Brian reacted so badly to David's claim. And David's response later was a form of backpedaling, denying an earlier assertion as a form of damage control. Even if David had been only joking, it was still a hurtful thing to do. Period. The case for the two-faced
He bullied the Brian to leave the festival.
Neither celebrities in the Summer Festival ever showed themselves at all until last year, when they were interviewed by Helena, as shown earlier. Indeed, as far as I could tell, no one ever knew their real names beyond the names of their accounts. And in the case of celebrities in Plotagon, it appears we still don't know his real name. More on that later. It is likely that had Helena not started her series of community conversations, we to this day wouldn't know anything about the true identities of the owners of CIP and PSA. Of course, people can have a right to their privacy, but not to the point of outright dishonesty. Point 2. David used his real voice when interviewed by Helena, but CIP spoke with an electronic voice in his interview. I think this point is obvious. Of course, there is nothing wrong with using an artificial voice. I normally do that myself, including in this very video. But I do that because I dislike my natural voice. But that doesn't mean I am trying to diss anyone. Point 3. David is enormous to use other accounts besides Plotagon Summer Festival, just as he confessed to Brian. Here's a clear example in YouTube. Note the date the channel was created, way back in 2021. Point 4. Celebrities in Plotagon is supposed to be from Chicago.
5 years ago.
Therefore an American, but in a video he made in reference to the death of Queen Elizabeth II, he referred to her as our queen. She was not a queen of any American, only of her British and Commonwealth subjects. Oops.
British.
And who was that commenting on that video?
This is another alt by him, by the way.
Could this be another of David's accounts? This was made way back in 2006.
Yes, Les Blood Hercules. And Andrew Hercules and Plotacards. And Plotagon Summer Festival and celebrities in Plotagon.
CIP.
I love your art, Scarlet. It's amazing.
Point 6. Googling the name Hassan Johnson reveals that this is the name of an actual celebrity, an actor in the New York area, not Chicago. So it is likely that the owner of the celebrities at Plotagon account stole the identity of this actor. Note his real life appearance. And here is what the Plotagon avatar of celebrities in Plotagon looks like. Coincidence? Ironic that he was exposing poverty after hours while using a stolen identity himself. Does your mind series as a means of writing what you know. Much as I did in making the Bubby and Carrie show set mostly in my home state of Texas. But why didn't he identify himself as the actual actor in his interview with Helen? That would have been a perfect time to reveal himself and promote whatever acting jobs he might have been doing recently. But he did not. So we really don't know much about these people that we have been so involved with. So let me tell you what will happen as a result of putting out this video. First, David, the creator of the Plotagon Summer Festival, is that to me. I have already blocked his account on Instagram, and if he tries to contact me with any other account on any other platform, I will block those too. And obviously, I will not take part in any future version of the Plotagon Summer Festival if by some miracle one is done. Personally, I think the one we did this year should be the last we ever do, because the integrity of that long-term project has been ruined forever. As I see it, David made 3 fundamental mistakes in running the festival this year. First, his telling Brian that bullshit claim of him and celebrities about being the same person. Second, his setting the festival on June 8th, which is not even a summer day. The actual summer solstice was on June 20th. By making the festival earlier, he made it difficult for younger protagonists to turn in their projects in a timely fashion, because they likely would have been focused on school projects in May. They're having to rush their words for the festival later might have resulted in poor editing and direction. Third, David didn't specify a deadline to turn in projects 2 or 3 weeks before the festival came out, and thus the PSF team had almost no time to assemble the projects. Then again, moving the Plotagon Summer Festival to June 20th might have made it harder for protagonists to make and submit projects for the Plotagon Film Festival later, which is a different event, and unlike the other festival, is actually run by the Plotagon Company itself. Another good reason to end the Plotagon Summer Festival, in my opinion. And so that concludes my critical analysis of this year's Plotagon Summer Festival and of its creator, David. Shall we move on? Well, I can't say I'm surprised at all by the latest incident involving the Plotagon Summer Festival of this year, given the nature of its founder, as I have discussed before. Anyway, Phoenix Studios came to me last night and reported that David Smith had received the submission she made for the festival, consisting of several episodes of a series that were meant to be placed in an exact order. Much like my own Debbie and Carrie content usually is. And David got the order of the episodes completely wrong with the upcoming videos for the Plotagon Summer Festival. And when Phoenix pointed out his mistake, instead of accepting the criticism and fixing it, as any respectful person would do, he said, imagine a movie director refusing to fix a mistake in his movie and using that he has a family as an excuse not to do it. No one would take that bullshit seriously. So now, Phoenix is thinking of quitting the Plotagon Summer Festival. And if she does, I have advised her to take her creations to the Plotagon Film Festival instead, because I'm sure Helena won't screw her over like David is doing. So my instincts from last year, refusing to take part in any future event run by David Smith, were right on. I hope David learns from this and doesn't ruin everything for himself and the others at the PSF later this month, but I am not holding my breath.
I did not want to make this video, but screw it. Hey everyone, Phoenix Studios here, and I have some unfortunate news. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances and unnecessary drama and a lot of nitpicking, I have left Plotagon Summer Festival for good. Before any one of you says it's my fault, it's not. And I'm going to give you all the reasons why this was and this drama shouldn't even happen in the first place at all. And before I say anything, everything I'm going to say in this video is absolutely 100% true, and I have screenshots to prove it. And I know this is his festival, but this should have been like a team effort thing, not just how he wants to put it together. Everything I'm going to be saying is going to be re-dramatized into this video. So here we go. Last year at Plotagon Summer Festival in 2025, it was okay. It was decent. There were a little bit of ups and downs, but I didn't really pay attention to those. This year was absolute dog shit. Let's start from the very beginning. This whole chaos started like around.
Oh, you did a collab with someone?
Where celebrities in Plotagon left Instagram to prepare for something. I'm going to explain it later in time. Actually, maybe I probably won't, because I already explained that in an older video, or a video from Dale Husband. Link is available in the description for that video. And before you say this is personal information, you shouldn't be saying this aloud. Well, I have the right to speak out and say things that I think are in the wrong to be in the right. So in other words, this information has to be informed. Because I can't keep everything hidden from other people and with people their secrets. And trust me, this is the right thing to do. With all due respect, Dale Husband explained it better. At first, I thought this was going to be the only setback, but man, was I wrong. So I came to David and told him about the important secret storyline I had planned in the private chat between him and I. Instead, I wanted a very specific order of how this was going to be placed out. Because each of my acts is going to tell a story in order. So one act comes on, then a couple other protagonists, and then the next part of the story with one of my other people's acts. So in other words, I hit an entire storyline within the festival. Not to mention I told them a million times that there's a specific order for these acts to go. Unless they're shuffled, they'll go completely out of order. So I thought, since this isn't going the way as planned, I thought I'd merge 9 out of 10 acts into one big performance that would make sense. And then, also then have 2 popular acts separately. But no. Everything got escalated further, and this made it even more complicated. I thought this was going to be easy. Well, for an update, I just got kicked out of the group chat. Unfortunately, here's what he said. He said that I was trying to sabotage this festival when in reality I was just trying to make it make sense. There was a specific order for these acts to go to tell a secret story. I thought it would be fun because I was inspired by Helena when she did Plotting Goblins and Monsters with Lizzie's story. But unfortunately, everything was completely shuffled. Tried to work it out, but somehow it made it worse. And now you're saying that I was reporting back to Satan to sabotage the art festival? I just wanted to make something fun. And unfortunately, it got escalated to something even worse. I don't know how people are going to take this message, but I've tried to tell you multiple times that I wanted to make something fun in a specific order. I wasn't going to put every other protagonist or your acts in specific order, just my acts. I wasn't trying to, shuffle everything else. I didn't mean to. I was just trying to, it was just my acts that had to be in a specific order, not anyone else's. I just wanted to tell a little secret story. This will all make sense when I, re-upload what I was going to have planned for on June 30th, which is my birthday. So I'm glad I'm no longer a part of this shit. In other words, I wish the best of luck to everyone else who's included. You will not be seeing me, though. I'm not even going to go to the live stream. The sad thing is I honestly thought this was, going to go how we were even talking about how the secret storyline would be fun and stuff like that. There was a specific order of how these guys were going to go. Like, for example, a part of the story is told in a chronological order this way, and then we take a break to someone else's performance, and then the main storyline continues with another performance. It would be just like what the Fosters did, Lizzie going back to town or whatever. But unfortunately, that ain't going to happen anymore. Since you wanted to do something his way instead of actually looking into the videos of the specific plot in between, I guess I'm just gonna, get out of here. Because clearly I'm not really wanting to play like this. I wanted to make something creative and fun, but if you're just gonna shuffle the whole thing and make everything shitty, and even delay the shit to August, which by the way is Polygon Film Festival with the actual Polygon's YouTube channel, then it's just completely out of the ordinary and out of my vibe. So I had every right to quit. It was stressful as hell. Hard to believe I was actually doing work during my Panama City trip for this video. I mean, I can't let this go on for nothing. So I didn't want my performances I made go, unhinged and full of slop and into the garbage. So it just felt out of the. I really wanted this to be an early birthday special with the original date. But if you're gonna delay this shit to August, then you can consider me out, because clearly I'm too much of a drag for you, and this has gone on for far too long, and I shouldn't really have considered this idea. I don't know how others are gonna react to this video, or I don't even understand, but you don't understand how much. If I say anything else, David will just say I'm a spawn of Satan and say I'm a bad person.
That's me, not you.
Yeah, right. That's what I said.
Thing.
Girl.
But it was
whatever,
supposed to
you
be
got the wrong person.
it was supposed to be meant to the timeline, the references in the video. I didn't want it out to differences in my performance, so I had to leave and go. My sincere apologies. With great sadness, I made my decision and it's time for me to go. So there's your proof. I wanted an actual story to be told, but I treated it like slop and shufflement. And I tried to reason with him, but we got a little bit of argument, and I don't want to get into further details. And I hope this is the last time the Florida Summer Festival happens. David really needs to focus on his child and his family instead of this. I hope this is the last time I bring
He has a kid?
you understand that I'm in the right. David
Did have a kid and he's part of the political community?
Yeah, he told no one about it, and he's like 21 or something. He had a baby without permission, and he told no one about it until recently.
When you know comedy
It's crazy.
got exposed. Well, luckily Starlight Studios and AKA Caleb apologized for his action. But yeah, there's been a lot of unnecessary drama. And I still won't forgive you for what you've done with the Brian. And full strike or not.
I told you he bullied him to leave the festival.
Not in the description. I know there's Dale Husband video. I don't want to say anything else right now. I just want to
No, just one. And then me.
ASAP. I hope some of you protagonists understand. Link is available in the description for
We love you, Uncle Ty.
for more information to see the true colors on who this guy really is. I hope some of you actually take the time to consider what has been going on behind the scenes for this celebrities and plotting on Guy. Even especially when he tried to steal the identity of Son Johnson. I recommend you watch the videos in the description. Credits to Dale Husband, the Honorable Skeptic.
Are any of you familiar with sunk cost fallacy? The sunk cost fallacy is a cognitive loss where you continue a new endeavor, like a failing project, bad investment, or unfulfilling relationship, simply because you have already invested resources, time, money, or emotional energy into it, rather than basing your decision on future benefits. Loss aversion. Psychologists have found that the psychological pain of losing something feels twice as intense as the joy of gaining the equivalent thing. We hold on to avoid admitting the loss was real. We tend to associate walking away with failure. We trick ourselves into continuing to create a narrative that justifies our past choices rather than framing cutting losses as a smart move. We don't want to be perceived as a quitter, so we make irrational choices to protect our. That's only wasting more time and resources, of course.
Apparently, there are some YouTubers who don't
Next
believe
thing
in
you
the
know,
likes of
you'll
Dale
find out
Husband.
that it's using
So I'm going to give you my side of the story. And yes, it is simple.
Well, he did use AI to make the schedule. He used AI Slop to create the schedule the first time. So there's that. And I can tell when something's created with AI.
You're probably wondering what I'm talking about. Let's just say there was a reason I had to leave PSF. For if I were to stay, you wouldn't be seeing PSF until August. Plus, my project would have had outdated references. Not to mention, I have backup information from my experience. The following is a recreation of what I had to deal with over the summer. Hey, I got an idea for this year's festival. David, do you like the idea of me telling a secret storyline within the, performance? You know, like how summarily Polygon is the Oscars when Disney went back in time to see all those clocks and all that sort of thing? Great. Now, you're okay with me with this whole, schedule thing, and you know what's up?
This paint is very drippy. I forgot about that.
Awesome. What could possibly go wrong now?
Everything.
Exactly.
Alright, so I organized everything for the festival. So everything's gonna go as normal with all the other performances, but I'm gonna tell a story with each of my acts I've prepared. Like, I'm gonna come up, and then after a couple acts from other protagonists, another one of my acts comes up. Do you understand what I'm talking about here? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you actually planned this beforehand.
By the way, Dale's not even a liberal, even.
Dale.
Yeah, Dale Husband. He uses plot guns similarly like I do to create stories.
you. I cannot let this happen. I'm gonna talk it over. Should I retweak the schedule since, my story won't go out of order with any performance? I'm not gonna ask you to change your acts or the other acts order. Just, make sure mine makes sense. I'm not making things difficult. Bro, it's just a minor tweak. Just go back and watch my videos and you'll understand why it's a secret storyline in the first place.
I have to fix.
Okay, first of all, TMI. And second of all, I can't go out of order. Everyone's gonna be confused. You know what? I got a better idea. How about I just merge the performances I had in store with this storyline that goes with the story into just one act? Two possible separately. Awesome. What could possibly go wrong?
Everything.
Yes.
Alright, time to open Instagram and watch some WWE memes. What's this now? Sure, I guess. Wait, what? Is he seriously letting him access into the channel of Flygon Summer Festival? That's impossible. Even I'm running out of storage, and I can't focus on that. Too much spoilers. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to decline. Why don't you ask your friend Brian? Oh wait, you bullied his ass. Just kidding. So apparently David told a terrible joke to Brian, and that made him quit the festival. It was cyberbullying in a nutshell. And I am terribly sorry that Brian had to deal with this. This all happened last year, by the way. At that time that Brian lost trust on David. Credits to Dale Husband, the art skeptic, for this truthful information. Not to mention at the time David was disguising as Hassan Johnson when in reality he wasn't the actual Hassan Johnson. So that means he was using a fake username under the account celebrities and Flygon. Plus I had a similar argument with, David Festival. He got mad at me just for similar minor tweaks to the festival. Besides, the deadline was the 14th, then the deadline was changed to the 28th, and then soon he would change it to August. And the reason why he almost permanently changed it to August is because my file for my mixed acts was so taking up too much of his storage that he decided that instead of, deleting storage like a normal person. And yes, I know I have storage issues too on my phone.
I forgive you, Travis Stout. This had nothing to do with you anyway, so I forgive you, Travis Stout.
But it was at that point, if it was going to change in August, there were going to be outdated references. So that's when I decided to kick the boot and quit. Okay, that is it. First, you don't like my idea of a separate order. Second, when I finally decided to merge the whole story into one project, you delay it to August. That is too close to the Plotagon Film Festival made by the actual Plotagon people. And plus, that'll give me no time to work on any projects for PFF, and I'll be so focused on PSF coming in late August.
This has nothing to do with you, Travis Stout, so I forgive you, even though this has nothing to do with you right now. You had nothing to do with this situation. Sorry everyone, but the stream got interrupted because my phone died, so I'm gonna go to the next video.
Late August, it's going to take a toll on my mental health. Plus, we're not making it to July. You know what? That's it. I'm leaving the festival. I'm going to make this video on YouTube immediately. Figures. Looks like I got kicked out of the group chat, just like the Brian. He called me a startling devil.
I don't know how to review the chat, so I'm sorry if I don't read your comments.
That's it. If this escalates any further, I'm going to have to go to severe more consequences. Who let deal with the other protagonists having to wait till end of August for their Plotagon Summer Festival. I'm out. That's it. Unacceptable. I knew it had something to do with storage. I just knew it. Well, good luck trying to get me back, because I'm no longer part of the festival. Now my act's going to be a separate project. I cannot believe I had to deal with that, even during my head of the city trip. So yeah, my project wasn't treated fairly like, the original Plotagon team would. So that's why I left Plotagon Summer Festival. I was not the bad guy in this situation, believe me. Lucky for us, David apologized for one of my community posts, so we're good now. But when it comes to that, it's going to take a very long time if I'm ever going to reconsider recording one of these things again. I'm going to focus more
Baby Shark.
Yes, Kasakai used to sing Baby Shark for 20 minutes.
Baby Shark.
What the frick?
Why don't you like Baby Shark?
It's so annoying. It's a ripoff of Gunther's theme from WWE in the beginning, too.
Baby Shark was made before Gunther's theme was made.
No, Gunther was around since 2019.
Yeah, and that song's been around since 2011 or something.
Wait, what?
2011.
FR?
Yeah, it's been around since 2000. Like, I don't know, somewhere in the early.
I don't think 2011.
Search it up.
I'll look up later after live stream.
Oh man, I added too much green paint. Crap.
Reviewed immediately. Thankfully, I had that with the Dale Husband Young objective. We're not the bad guys here. Once again, I hope this video comes to your senses because there's a certain someone who wants all the information. This is all I can have to say. With that being said, thanks for watching. And yes, it's true that David refused to be so supporting on the skies himself as Sean Johnson.
When was Baby Shark made?
Talk about Sock Puppet Move. So yeah, he was responsible for making Sock Puppet
June 17th, 2016.
That's like Uncle Ty's birthday and when Finding Dory came out. That's crazy.
And it was made in 2016, so yeah, Baby Shark is older than Gunther's theme.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. I am sorry. I'm here to say I'm very sorry. I'm here to say I'm sorry that I put pressure on David. But if I stayed, I would have to wait till August for PSF. Plus, my video would have updated references. There is a reason I left. I tried so damn hard to explain to one person, but I was cyberbullied in the private chat.
Ew.
Much like you were when angry kid Stephen Culkin made the video on you. Only except he is a narcissist to me. And also me and Dale Husband are not dating. He is from Texas and I'm from Branson. What the hell? Just because he lost his one true love doesn't mean he is grooming me. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I'm not even 17 anymore. I'm going to 20 on June 30th, 2026.
Oh man, I got paint on my arm.
I had no idea he was even down with his father till he said something. I didn't mean to put any stress on him. I only wanted my performance to go specifically and not to mess with any of the other performers. These were very simple behind-the-scenes instructions. Dale Husband is going to apologize now.
Hello, I'm Dale Husband. Notice how this is not the current avatar. I'm not dating this mouthy person. We were just talking. How dare you even say I'm a groomer? You have no evidence of me being a sexual harasser. I'm a honorable skeptic. I give life lessons to people and I also use Plotagon to make stories. What was said was sexist. But I'm here to say I am sorry for targeting the festival this year. Since this is your first time here, the video will still be up though. Because everything she said in the video is 100% true. But we are sorry. Plus, David already forgave Maddie for the damage she caused.
Here, come look at this paint water. It's so ugly.
Okay, fine. Scarlett wants to show you her paint water.
It's so ugly.
Why does it look like medicine?
I don't know.
What colors did you use?
I used yellow, green, brown, white,
Okay.
a gold, silver.
Alright, back to the video.
Said in the video is 100% true. But we are sorry. Plus, David already forgave Maddie for the damage that he caused. And also the birthday show countdown was originally going to be for PSN before the August delay threat is now going to be in June 30th on YouTube.
Why is his eyes so sexy like that?
Maddie, shut up, dude.
You end up like Jack Parker / Helen Hernberg. Trust me, you don't want that. So do you understand why everything was said in those
Ah,
videos?
man, I got paint.
Pardon my French, but for the last 1 year, you got paid at least because we don't even see each other in real life. Just through Plotagon. Shame on you for conclusion jumping.
Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching my live stream. Like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for the Night of Champions.